Win big in 2023 with Team Sync from RotoBaller. Import your fantasy teams and sync your leagues. Get customized tools and tailored advice for your specific rosters and scoring settings, including live recommendations from the Live Draft Assistant, Free Agent Finder, and Lineup Optimizer. Sync an unlimited amount of NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL fantasy teams from all of the major fantasy platforms. Get a discount for any premium pass using my promo code KNUCKLER, KNUCKLER, one who throws knuckleballs. Just visit rotoballer.com/radio and start rotoballing like a boss. Christmas is coming up, makes a great gift for the rotoballer in your life. This podcast is also brought to you by Parlay Play Fantasy Sports. Go on there, use my referral code RotoBrady and my referral link. Get that sweet deposit bonus, getting those awesome player prop parlay contests. They got free contests, they got paid contests all across the world of sports. Check it out. It's a fun platform.
Drew Shannon going to give us the word.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the decision is in the hands of the judges. All three judges score this bout 30-27. Your winner by unanimous decision in the blue corner, Mataeo Top 8 Garner.
And what's up, everybody? This is Brady Grove bringing you another interlude episode of RotoBaller's official MMA podcast. Tap that, and we got a special interlude episode tonight. With me today, he was 5-3 as an amateur, 3-0 as a professional fighter with Demolition Fight Team. He hails from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, 26 years old. He is currently ranked as the #1 pro Ohio light heavyweight, #3 in Kentucky. That doesn't even make any sense. I'd say if you go to Kentucky, you're probably #1 there too, man. In the U.S. Northeast, the U.S. Southeast, Pennsylvania, there's not a region on this this side of the country that this guy isn't ranked as a pro light heavyweight, and he's fought all across the board. Give it up for Mataeo, Top 8 Garner. Mataeo, thanks so much for being here tonight. How you doing, man?
Good. I appreciate the intro. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. And dude, your whole history, you know, you've got a combined 11 fights from the start of your amateur career to pro, and that includes the boxing fight that was professional as well. And so I just want to ask too, because I've heard these things like in watching your fights. You're 5'9", you fought everywhere from 185 pounds to 213 pounds. And I know that you have a pretty colorful, decorated athletic history overall. So for people that might not know, can you talk about kind of your athletic history, you know, before and kind of outside of mixed martial arts leading up to today?
Yeah, so my first love was football and WWE wrestling, but I didn't know how to become a WWE wrestler. So my first love was football. I started playing football in the backyard with like the kids in my neighborhood that were older than me at like 5, 6 years old. They would let me play and things like that. That's when I fell in love with that. And then I played football from the time I was like 5 to 20, 21 years old. And my second love was WWE wrestling. But like I said before, I didn't know how like to even become that. You know, I grew up in North Carolina until I was 12. That's when I moved to Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And then I boxed when I was 8 in North Carolina at a place called the Powell Center in Dunn, North Carolina, but that got shut down by the time I was like 10. So football is what I stuck with. And I went on to play junior college football at Valley Forge Military College. Larry Fitzgerald went there, for people who don't know what that is, where that is. It's in Wayne, PA, like 15, 20 minutes outside of Philly. And then from there, I transferred to play Division I football at Alabama A&M. Then I did some time there. And then that didn't work out. I had NFL dreams. That didn't work out. So I just had to like sit back and think about other things to do, like what I'm good at, because I needed something. I wasn't just going to sit around and not do anything. And I was thinking fighting. You know, I've been in, not to brag about this because I don't condone it. I've been in a lot of street fights growing up as a kid. I wrestled in high school for 2 years, so I had a little bit of experience. So that's when I started doing MMA. And it was just, at first, it was just, I just want to train and learn. That's what it was. I trained for a whole year before I even took a fight. My first training, like for MMA, was 2018. And I didn't even take a fight until 2019. That was my first fight. And then after I got the win, you know, you get a little confidence. And then I just kept showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up. And then now I'm here. And yeah, like you said, I fight guys from, they could be 6'5", 6'3", doesn't matter. That's just what it is. My coach always says I'm vertically challenged, so I accept it. That's like hopefully the fast feet and quick hands help me get in and out. And yeah, I did take a boxing match, and I also have 9 amateur I have 9 amateur boxing matches where I went 7-2 as an amateur. So I got some experience. I wanted to get a lot of fights and a lot of experience before I turned pro, and that's why I'm on my 11th fight, going on my 12th now, I believe. So that's a little bit about me.
And damn, you touched on like several things that I want to go a little bit into. First off,
Yeah.
So when it comes to football players in mixed martial arts, there are obviously a ton of gifted athletes that have an explosive level of athleticism that you don't see all the time for people who are just martial artists. At the same
Yes.
time, you see a lot of guys struggle with their gas tank for that reason. Do you think the fact that you've been in boxing for so long and you have more of a deeper rooted history in combat sports has kind of helped you to overcome some of those challenges that other football players have experienced?
Yes, I've learned with football players, they're either really good or really bad. And so just being honest. So what I wanted to do was not be really bad. The number one thing, the guy who started training me, his name was Roy Aiken. He was actually a pastor at my church, but he's legit. Like, he's not like your regular pastor. This dude don't play. He's been at West Virginia University in the wrestling room with D1 wrestlers. He just is one of those people that just know fighting, street fighting, MMA fighting, any type of fighting. He just knows fighting. And he has like a fight matrix. Like, he has his own like fight thing, like fight matrix fights, like his own science behind fighting. The number one thing he taught me was about movement. Movement is the most important thing. Your footwork, your movement, that's the most important thing. Second most important thing is your cardio. If you ain't in shape, you can't fight. So he had to push me to the levels to where football didn't push me to where, like, okay, this is the shape I need to be in. If you can't fight twice in one night, you're not ready. You're not in shape. And then he taught me I'm most dangerous when I'm tired. And then he taught me to change my mindset so I don't get tired. I don't stop until the bell's done. So being tired is just a mindset, and you can push yourself through that. And you got to be putting in the work in the gym. So anybody can work on cardio. It's really a mindset thing. You got to you got to push yourself to that breaking point. That's the only way to get your cardio better. And you have to take fights. You can't fight once a year, twice a year, because live action is different than the gym. And I get in great shape in live action. That helps you get better too. So that's how I deal with cardio.
And this was, most recently, the fight that you just won on October 21st. That's the first time that you went the distance as a professional MMA fighter. And I think it's clear from watching your fights too, that footwork is a big emphasis with you. I think that the footwork that you have, it translates well into your striking, but it also flows seamlessly into your takedowns, and you land your takedowns with a good amount of momentum too. So, everything with your feet transitions seamlessly from one part of your game to another.
Yes. Yeah, footwork is the most important thing you can have. Everything starts with footwork. Boxing, wrestling, every sport. You watch soccer, footwork. Baseball, footwork. Everything starts with your feet. Everything starts with your feet. I think footwork is so important. Being in position, understanding positioning is so important. You can stop a takedown. You can get a takedown. Just footwork is the most important thing. Like, I think footwork, because everything starts from the ground up, right? So that's why I believe footwork is very important. I believe a lot of fighters should work on their footwork more.
And I think there's a lot of guys that have good footwork maybe for one discipline, but it doesn't necessarily allow them to go seamlessly from their grappling and their wrestling to the striking. And so, it can kind of get choppy, but I don't sense that with you, man. It really is like it seamlessly, flows into one another. And, another thing that you said earlier when you were kind of giving, your backstory, and I don't touch on this a ton, like on this show. And I want to take this opportunity to, because we're in an era now, like where if you go on Twitter on any given day, you're seeing 1,000 world star hip hop videos of kids just getting their heads bashed in, like on blacktop and pavement. And at the same time, you know what I'm talking about, man? Like, those videos are so popular. But at the same time, I'm like, there's nothing that I hate watching more than just like some kid getting knocked out like in a cul-de-sac, and I don't even know what he did. Like, and they make up some reason for why like it was justified.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, in big level, boxing and mixed martial arts, there's a lot of these like the personalities that are making their money, but they're making their money off of controversy, which is completely okay. I completely I get promotion through controversy, but and you touched on it a little bit, but like if you could just speak a little bit more to the positive influence that mixed martial arts has had on your life when you picked it up.
Helped me with discipline, helped me with self-confidence. That was the main thing. Self-confidence was big. Like confidence, it helped me find myself. It helped me feel worthy. Like mixed martial arts can help you in so many ways, not even just the sport, but just being around your teammates, your coaches, and then you get support from your teammates, people, just because you're their teammate. And it's really like a love you don't have. It's a different kind of love. You can't find this love at home. You can't find this love anywhere. Even when I was playing football, it's like people have their favorite players that they're coming to watch. They're putting them on. They're putting their numbers on their face. They're putting like their jerseys on. You know what I mean? Like who you want to watch. If I'm going to the Giants game, I want to see Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? Like I know who I'm going to see. With this, it's like you get all the love. Like when you're fighting, people are there to see you. You know what I mean? And it's a different kind of love that you can't find in any other sport. And it's like if I meet somebody who's in Germany, I'm in Germany, I meet someone and he trains, we automatically have so much stuff to talk about because he's a fighter, he's into mixed martial arts, whether that's judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA, boxing, whatever, just the fight world, period. It's like it's universal, it's everywhere. So it's one of them things because in other countries, football isn't big. You know what I mean? But this is big everywhere. So it's really like you can meet family away from home. You can find second homes everywhere. Like I've been so many places and like, dang, this is like my second home. Really, it's like my 16th home. So it's just a love you get that you don't get anywhere else.
And I've always said that like in terms of sports, there's really 3, maybe 4 universal languages if I was going to include like track and field, just because those are like that's an ancient sport. But everybody's got basketball. Almost everybody's got soccer, and almost everybody has their professional form of combat sports, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And, to all the people that are out there, because as people that like, as a fan of MMA, you as an MMA fighter, sometimes we forget that there are some people whose mindsets are still stuck in 1988. And they think that it's like, they think that this is a bad thing. But in reality, man, there's a lot of 8-year-old kids out there who are taking jujitsu classes who are able to walk through the hallways in their middle school. Or the age I quoted just then was not in middle school, but you get what I'm saying. Is there's a lot of kids that can walk through the hallway confidently, no matter who, no matter the size of the dude that steps in front of them,
and don't have to worry about the bully, and not necessarily just learning to beat up the bully, but protect other kids who don't know what you know from the bully. You know what I mean? Like it's not all about hurting people. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to hurt you before you hurt me if we're in competition, if we're in a fight together. But that's not why I do this every day. I'm not smashing people's faces in with elbows and bloodying them up every day. And like it's not like that. So out of all the training I do, I really don't even have to really get aggressive and like that much unless I'm in fight camp or like. So it's not how people make it seem. And people think it's like the movies, you know what I mean? Like they think blood's just everywhere and people are leaving on stretchers and dying and things. It's not like that. So
I mean, and you want to talk numbers, there's a lot of sports that have had body counts like at the professional levels for a while. And, when it comes to regulated commissioned MMA, that just is something that has not been. Granted, it's a younger sport. The NFL has been around for over 100 years. And the UFC is 30 years old. So whatever. But, in terms of safety, it's always had to be a strong emphasis because everybody's eyes were on the safety aspect of it from the beginning.
Street fighting's more dangerous, I would say, because there's no ref to break it up. And I mean, yeah, people break it up sometimes, but for the most part, anything can happen in the street. Anything's legal. So that's more dangerous than this. This is at least structured, you have rules, you have a ref in there to break it up, you have your coaches there with you. You know what I mean? That's what makes it a sport. This guy signs a contract, that guy signs a contract. Y'all train for each other, y'all well prepared. This guy got fans, this guy got fans. They make bets. That's what makes it a sport. It's not just like you're just going in there with a random person and ripping his head off.
And
As much as we like to think it's like that, it's not like that.
now, and even the fights that do get the most, I don't want to, brutal, for like someone who's not familiar with the sport, those end up being some of the most beautiful, respectful performances between,
Yep.
two dudes that are sharing an amazing moment in the ring together.
Yeah. So I think everybody should learn something. That's just me. I feel like being able to defend yourself is a very big thing. Like if I had a kid, I would want them to learn how to defend themselves. I have a nephew, so I would definitely teach him. I'm not going to force it upon anybody, but I feel like that's a big thing, just knowing how to defend yourself in some kind of way. You don't have to be like to my level, or you don't have to be John Jones, but I feel like you should be able to walk outside and know if something happened, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to handle yourself.
And that's the thing. I have a son on the way within the next couple of weeks, and it's like, if
Congratulations.
thanks, man. I appreciate that. And it's like, if he wants to take up jujitsu at a certain point, just because, like you said, you don't look for, problems ever, but at the same time, you can't like go through life necessarily hoping to avoid every single problem that could ever come up.
And let's get real. We're men. We need to get that out, that aggression out. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether you lifting weights, boxing, or like we need to get that out. We need to burn some of that testosterone. We're men. We're men. Forget all the soft stuff. We're men. We need to get that off. Now that's just me being real. Like we need that.
No, for
We
sure.
need that.
I think that like having a competitive outlet, as long as you find, the competitive outlet that's right for you is, almost always a good thing. It's hard to find any bad examples of that. You spoke to this a little bit before, but the value that you find in Demolition Fight Team when you are with guys like Dylan Budka and Alonzo Turner, guys like that. If you could talk a little bit about the value of being with a team like that, that's high quality, that you feel a sense of camaraderie with.
Man, the crazy thing is, sad thing or crazy thing, whatever. You just named two guys, but we got like 12, 13 other guys just like that. They're just having injuries, have things going on outside of, you know what I mean? Things going on that are affecting not affecting their trainer or anything, but affecting them for being fully focused how I am. Just coming to Demolition was a wake-up call. So before I came to Demolition, I thought I was good. Like, I thought I was good. I was 4-1 as an amateur. It had me a little belt. I was like, man, this is kind of easier than I thought. Like, maybe I'm really good at this. And then I get to Demolition, and it's like, whoop. It's like, oh, man, I'm not good. I got guys that are not even 2 fights in, just taking it to me in the gym. Like, and I'm doing 3-a-days now, so my body's going through growing pains. I'm cutting weight, trying to get to a new weight class and things like that. So, and I finally got a coach. I never had a coach until I went to Demolition. So I won the Ohio Combat League title in 2022. That was my first championship with no coach. The guy in my corner was my boxing coach. I will admit I had a boxing coach, but I didn't have an MMA coach or anything like that. I trained at All-American MMA. I'm not going to say those guys didn't help me, but we basically all just trained together. I didn't have like an actual coach coaching me how a lot of these guys have. It was like, yo, we training today, guys? All right. And we would train, and that's how we did it. I sat through some jiu-jitsu classes. I have ADHD, ADD, so it's hard for me to sit down and just listen to an instructor teach. I actually have to like make a workout out of it and like break a sweat. That's how I like to kind of do my jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I never had a coach until I got to Demolition, and I think that's what just made me so much better. And like you mentioned, I was 5-3, but a lot of people would argue that it is what it is. Take my losses like a man. But I mean, yeah, Demolition just made me so much better. It's everybody's, if you're not good, they're tough, but everyone's like good. If you're not like it's everything. We got everything. Kickboxers, boxers, and I'm excited for where our gym's going, not just where I'm going. We got shout out guys like Ferreris Golden, Todd Box, Trey Cusack, Quentin Richards. I can just name a list of guys. Andrew Smith, Matt Smith, Dylan, Alonzo. Man, we got so many guys. So many guys. And then what's scary is we got guys coming up too, like guys with like no fights that are. So it's like everybody's good. And I just appreciate this gym so much. And everybody's important. From the worst person to the best person, nobody's more important than anyone. And that's what I love about it. Like, I don't get treated like this because I'm a pro. They try to sometimes, and that's good, but everybody's important, from the worst person to the best person. And coach welcomes anyone. As long as you're willing to work hard and you're respectful, he welcomes anyone. So I love Demolition. I got it tatted on me. So
and that's an important, point that you bring up too, is because one thing I do know about gym culture is that you could have, 99% of the guys there be world-class, absolute professional guys that are there every day to get better. But the absolute weakest link in a gym, or the most toxic personality, has the ability to drag everybody down and become a distraction.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have that, really. We really don't. Everybody supports each other. It's a cool environment. And anything that would go on petty, coach shuts it down, in which we really don't even have it. So everybody's important. And it's really demolition. The definition of demolition, to get demolished or be demolished, that's really what it is. If you're having a bad day that day, that sucks. Because if someone's having a good day and you're not feeling good, you're having a bad day, you can't wait till practice is over. And even when you're having a good day, it's still hard because guys are so competitive and so tough. And yeah, demolition made me so much better. It took my game to the next level. I remember struggling to make 205. Like, dang, like, how do these guys cut? And then I got to demolition. I made 185 easy. So, and I just got so much better. My skills, the way I look at fighting, everything. I just got so much better all around, and it shows in my performances. And I just want to keep getting better, keep getting better, and keep getting better, and keep getting better. That's all I want to do. I'm so focused, training 2-3 times a day. I just want to keep getting better, keep winning these fights one by one. And hopefully I'm the next from our team that can go to the UFC. And if someone makes it before me, congratulations. But hopefully I'm soon to be in the UFC,
And that's the thing, folks. That is Demolition Fight Team. It sounds like a great overall place, and everybody's doing well, and that's a great thing to hear. And, you mentioned it about your amateur career, but your last 2 amateur losses were both split decisions. And I know, I can already tell by the way that you lean back on that one that you got some thoughts on that.
Yeah. So at first I was upset. I didn't handle my losses well. So my coach always taught me, hey, people will let you know if you won the fight or lost. You don't have to do that. So I'm just going to say that people didn't think I lost, but I obviously didn't do something that the judges wanted or whatever. I mean, so that's fine. But all I'm going to say in both of those fights, on one of those fights, a guy was on his back for 8 minutes out of 9 minutes of a fight. So don't know how he won that one. The other guy, I can see why the judges gave it to him. I slipped a couple times and he got me down. Like, the mat was real slippery. He never like just took me down. Like, it was just something like my footwork and my movement. The mat was slippery. I was fighting in Ashland, Kentucky for Nightmare. The mat was real slippery and he took me down and I didn't capitalize off of it. You got to be able to adapt. It is what it is. It's my fault. But on the feet, I think I did more damage. With the 3-minute rounds, if you're down for like 1:15, 1:20, you know what I mean? So by the time I got up, it's like he kind of won the round already, but I still was doing damage on the feet. So I can understand that one. But the one, I don't understand. But it is what it is. It's over. It's in the past. I will see those dudes again. I have been offered them. They haven't accepted it, but it is what it is. I'm past it. I'm happy it happened because it changed my mentality and made me want to finish fights more and not just go to decisions and leave it up to judges. So it changed my mentality and it honestly made me better and it makes it a little easier to get fights. So, hey, it is what it is.
And, that's the thing about this sport as opposed to boxing is this is not a sport where you have to go undefeated. There's guys that go 0-8 in their amateur careers, and it's exactly what they needed in their transition to their pro career. And it's just very interesting to look back at your amateur record because, I mean, this is going back just to January of 2022 when you won the light heavyweight title for Ohio Combat League. Then the next fight, 9 months later, you fought for the Ohio Combat League vacant middleweight title. Then just a little bit over a month later, you fight for the Bayfront Brawl middleweight title. And then at the start of this year, the start of this year in ECC cage fighting, you fought for the catchweight championship. And so, and here's the thing, what I ultimately wanted to get to from that is, looking at you right now, you look lean, man. And I think that you could put together an interesting slideshow over a short period of time in your career of, how you got to how you look right now. And so is the plan 185 moving forward, or is the plan to, so there we go.
The plan is 185 for a couple more fights. And then hopefully I can get to the UFC PI with Dylan and see what's going on. But I mean, the real plan in the future, like, I feel like I will prosper. I feel like I will be great. I feel like I will flourish at 70. I'm 5'9", so welterweight is the future, like 170. But yes, as of right now, the next couple fights will be at 185. I would love to be at 170 by the summer or this time next year. So that's the goal. But the next couple fights, whenever they will be, I'm going to enjoy the holidays with my family and then get back to it then. I'm still training, but 170 is the long-term goal. But as of right now, I'll keep making 85, yes, for sure.
And that's really impressive, considering, just like how many fights you've taken in the last couple of years and at what weights they were. And at 5'9", you got some like real Ray Cooper vibes. Like it's kind of a similar, a similar look, a similar skill set and physique.
I don't even know who Ray Cooper is. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
Two-time PFL welterweight champion.
I'm sorry. I don't even know who that is. I'll have to look him up. So I'll have to see. I will. No disrespect to Ray Cooper. I'm sure he's a dog. Yeah,
he's fighting Derek Brunson in Derek Brunson's middleweight debut in PFL.
Derek Brunson went to PFL?
Yeah, man. He's in middleweight at PFL. We can discuss that for a second, because it's like, it seems like when the dudes leave the UFC sometimes and go to the PFL, it seems like they always think that it's going to be an easy million, and it just has not turned out to be like that.
No, it's not like that at all, man. Like, fighting's fighting. Like, it's kind of like, I know so many guys that could have been in the NFL, they just didn't make it, right? Like, it's just like that. Like,
especially where you played, in the ranks that you started off at, and then to the FCS level. I love to talk about alternative football on this podcast too.
I love
USFL, and so I'm sure that in the era that you play, which probably wasn't comparatively that long ago, but with all the changes in college football, it seems like it was generations ago.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out to Derek Brunson. Let's not skip over him. I hope he does good. I don't have no beef with nobody. Like, I'll fight anybody, but like, I don't take this personal. Like, it is what it is. Like, we're gonna fight. It's just what it is. But yeah, football does seem generational. Like, college players are getting paid, like, and all that stuff like that. And I come from a football like city. Like, I played for Jeanette High School, where Terrell Pryor played, and my cousin Jordan Hall played there, and then they went off to play at Ohio State. And so I come from a football family. Like, everything's football. In Western PA, the Whippeal, you got powerhouse teams. Like, so it's like, yeah. Like I said, kids and people are good enough to be in the NFL. They just don't make it. Not everybody gets the shot. You know what I mean? And some people don't want to wait on the UFC. Some people are 28. They've been grinding for this for 10 years, since they were 18. UFC ain't here. Bellator's offering this or whatever, but you know what I mean? Or PFL or whatever. So that's some people's mindsets. You know what I mean? But it don't matter. It don't matter. When you fight, you fight. Professional level is professional level. Don't get me wrong. The UFC is definitely the best. That is definitely the NFL for fighting. But all I'm saying is there definitely are guys that can compete in the UFC. And just because you leave the UFC doesn't mean you're just going to beat everybody in another promotion. That's not how it works.
No.
Because at the end of the day, fighting is still about matchups.
No, absolutely. And so with that, we can kind of transition to what it's been like since June 16th. because your first 2 pro fights against Trent Knott and Quentin Campbell, one was at LFA 160, which is, automatically that's a solid amount of exposure that you already get just from being on an LFA card. It's the #1 feeder promotion in the United States. And then, impressively, you finished both those fights inside the distance, one by submission, one by TKO, and passed round 1. Then, most recently, you go back in front of a hometown crowd and fight another guy that was in front of a hometown crowd as well, in Frankie Festa. And that was your last 2 fights have been for 247 FC. And that is an organization that has come up really quick in the last couple of years.
They're coming up.
Another a guy that I've had on this show a lot. I love him, Ilyas Mamadaliev, out of Dayton, Ohio. And he just fought for 247 and really spoke highly of it. And it seems like they burst on the scene and have kind of become like the feeder promotion to like the Cage Furies. It's almost like become very quickly a feeder promotion to the top feeder promotions.
They work hard on everything they do. I'm not going to lie. They promotion, commentary, announcing the fight, getting you your tickets, making sure all the fighters are taken care of. They're a good promotion. Like,
you can tell.
I fought for a lot of people. Like, I fought for a lot. They're just a good promotion, and they came up. They did come up fast. They're a good promotion. They took very good care of me. So shout out to 247. I always want to say 24/7, but shout out to 247. They're a good promotion. Great local promotion. Great exposure. Great.
And I saw you on that dude.
Don't be surprised if they're on Fight Pass soon or something like that.
For sure. And because right now they're doing kind of like the buy our pay-per-view format. But I think with the talent that they're getting in there, it's only a matter of time, considering the other promotions that are on there. And I remember seeing you, you were on a podcast, you were in your New Jersey Nets jersey and the bucket hat. And I was interviewing you and talking about the lead up to the Frankie Festa fight. And then I was watching the Frankie Festa fight and I'm listening and I'm like, the dude commentated, that's the same dude that was interviewing him. So
promotion.
All around, they've got everything covered. That's super impressive for an organization like that. Because as you know, so many regional organizations, from each fight can just be dumpster fires in the way that they handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good.
And
they're good.
So to then
and they don't take. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry. No. And they don't take super long. They can get 16, 15 fights on a card. The show ain't longer than 2 hours. Damn. They're not playing around. Like, they give the fighters time and everything you need. You know what I mean? But like, they don't just drag things. Like, it's like, or they'll have like 10 fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they get it. It's perfect timing. Everything is perfect timing. It's good. They're good. They're good.
And not only
all around good.
Do they not drag it out in a given night, but here you fought September 9th against Quentin Campbell. Then you fought October 21st against Frankie Festa. And how many fighters do you see on the regional scene that have 5 fights fall through on these regional promotions that these guys are pulling out, the event falls through. It's one problem after another, but it's 247 is not having those problems. It's incredible.
Yeah, I have been pretty active. I have. That was like my 6th or 7th fight this year, including boxing and MMA. So I had a couple amateur boxing matches at the beginning of the year. And then I had the pro debut against Devin. Devin came to my fight, actually. Shout out Devin. And then the MMA. So yeah. And then 247, they hit me up. They wanted me to come fight. And ever since I did, I just love fighting for them. And I plan on fighting for them again. I don't know when. You know what I mean? I like to fight everywhere, get known everywhere. So right now I'm just, like I said, enjoying the holidays, and shout out to 247.
And in the co-main event, you showed that you can carry in front of a Pennsylvania crowd. So that is meaningful for, whatever you'll be moving.
That was cool. I had so many people there. That was a fun experience. And like I said, the higher and higher I get in this game, I'm not going to get that, you know what I mean, that much, that hometown love and things like that. Because UFC don't come to Pittsburgh, really. They haven't been to Pittsburgh since like 2017 or something like that. So that was fun to go back and fight for my home crowd. Only a half hour away from home, 45 minutes. That was cool.
And so about that fight, so like that was a big one. You know, each next pro fight is a big one, and this was, you know, obviously meaningful to you. How did you feel? You know, how do you evaluate your performance against Frankie Festa? How did you think you were a different fighter in that fight from your first two professional fights?
Dominant, but definitely dominant. I made 2 mistakes in the fight. Me and my coach know where the mistakes are. Not a B+ or A- performance. B+, A-. The 2 mistakes I made that caused him to get on top for like 11 seconds, and then I didn't get the finish. But it was a dominant performance overall. But I had so many opportunities to get the finish, but I just didn't take advantage of them. I think because he was talking so much stuff, I was just enjoying punishing him so much. But I can't do that. Like, I got to get finishes. Like, I can't admire my work. I can't take pictures of my work. That's what my coach would call it. And I had so many opportunities and so many things were there. So it is what it is. I'll have to learn from it. And ever since then, coach has been on me. I've been drilling things like the boring stuff that you don't want to do. So I learned my lesson. I know what I should have did.
And, you know, that's the thing is, you know, at least the way that you ended up on your back briefly, it didn't end up, you know, having a lot of bad consequences. It was for a short period of time. You know, the other thing too is what I will say, because I agree, it was like you never lost control of that fight, not even for a second, not even when you were on your back. Did you lose control of the way that fight was going? Having said that, that dude was weirdly, what's the word, like slippery or like just kind of like, you know, he was doing everything he could sort of to like limit the damage that you could do. But at the same time, you were very creative in the way that you chose to do damage because the like watching your elbow sink into his gut on that ground and pound, which is not what everybody thinks to do, it like still like makes it hard for me to breathe right now. Like it was going deep in his stomach.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Frankie Festa. He's a tough guy. I think he had like a different kind of mindset coming into this fight. I think he didn't want me to get my 3rd finish. Like, I think that was like his goal, just survive. Because
That makes
before weigh-ins, he was talking and trying to be my friend, get me to open up the Pedialyte and all that stuff, like just being so friendly. And then we get the face-offs and he's talking stuff. I'm like, you were just trying to be my friend. Okay, keep the same energy. Cool. That was literally 5 minutes ago. But whatever. Back to him being nice at weigh-ins. At weigh-ins, he was talking. He was like, how many fights you got? He was like, you're 2-0, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, how many finishes? 2. And I was like, yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why is he like, you should know these things. You know this already, but whatever. So I think that was one of his goals, like, because he was down there grunting and talking to me like, you really are the top 8. Oh, like, so I'm like, whatever. Like, so I'm like, this is weird. This dude's weird. Like, I'm gonna just keep beating his face in. Like, no disrespect. I'm sorry, bro. Like, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that was his goal, just to survive. And he was tough. I mean, he was tough. He was a tough dude. He was harder to finish than anyone else, I thought, clearly. So he was a tough dude, and hats off to him. And I don't want him to hang it up or nothing. He just came back, go. Hats off to you. I hope you do great. I'm not, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Everybody has their little head games they play, but I'm here to fight. I don't care about none of that, bro. I come from that. I come from trash talking. Me and my boys just talk shit on each other. That's just how we are. There's nothing you can say to me. Like, I don't care. So
it's like it's weird because it's like some guys, you know that there's like it's not to their best advantage to like trash talk. So like sometimes they just employ weird tactics, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it depends who your opponent is.
Yeah, like I just said keep that same energy. And then everyone's like, he's a poor sport. He didn't shake his hand at the beginning before. I'm like, no, I told you to keep that same energy. Don't come across this cage and try to shake my hand. I'm about to beat your ass. That's the same energy. You're being disrespectful. I was being respectful. I'm respectful. I always lead with respect. I don't start nothing. I just finish it. I told you, keep the same energy. You come over here and think, I told you, we're going to have to get in the cage. You come over here, you trying to shake my hand? No. We can shake hands after the fight now, since you wanted to be an asshole. That's how that works.
Handshakes are kind of a weird for the sport, too, depending on the circumstance.
No, I get it. I get it. It's respect. You respect any man that comes in there. You know, he put his life, he's putting everything into it just like you. But if you're gonna be an asshole at the face off or the way, don't think I'm about to touch gloves with you. It's not happening.
For sure, I get the value of handshake, but like even in the main event of UFC Fight Night this past weekend, it seemed like Jelton Almeida was using them almost strategically, you know, just to take another second away that Derek Lewis couldn't use to try to knock him out with.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't listen. I'll give you a story. I didn't touch Quentin Campbell's hand for 2 rounds, bro. I go into that 3rd round like this extra weight's playing a toll. I'm like, come here, touch my hand real quick. I'm like, okay, I got him. I got control of this whole fight. I got him. He should not be trying. I'm like, he's down 2-0. He should not be trying to touch my hand right now. I was like, I got him.
You can tell when some people are doing, you know, when it's every round of a 5-round fight. It's just like, you know, at some point, I know you don't want to touch this person's hand that often. You know, it's like that. It's just, you know, there is a weird part of that. And it's fresh on my mind because I rewatched that Jelton Almeida Derek Lewis fight like 3 times and I can't make heads or tails of it after this past weekend.
Man, I feel like it's like a thing where it's like, okay, we're going to try to hurt each other, but if you don't hurt me too bad, I won't hurt you too bad. That's we're going to go. Like, nah, that just goes back to street fighting senses, right? In the street, you don't have time to stretch. You don't have time to warm up. You don't have time to shake somebody's hand. You know what I mean? So when I go into the cage, I have controlled aggression, but I have a street mentality at the same time. So when I say I have controlled aggression, that's don't do anything dirty. Don't do anything that's going to cost you. You know, everything is controlled. You're a martial artist. You're disciplined. Everything is controlled. Everything you do is controlled. Don't rush anything. Let it come. Don't do anything dirty. You know, that's what I mean. But be aggressive with everything you do. It's controlled aggression. So, but at the same time, I have that street mentality when I go in there. It's either you or me. So that's what you have to have. We're fighters, man. So we're fighters. That's what you got to have. We're fighters. At the end of the day, if I don't do it to you, you're going to do it to me. That's how it is.
And so, and Mataeo, this has been a phenomenal conversation. We covered a lot of ground tonight. I want to end off with this. You're now 3-0 as a professional.
Yes.
You know, that was a big win that you just got. And, you know, you're fighting for a great promotion right now. And you started off, you know, with a great promotion as well for your professional career. It's been a big year, you know, like you said, you know, the amount of work that you got in between October of 2022 and October of, you know, this year with that last fight being October 21st. What do you see the next 365 days being like? What are your goals moving forward in the short term and in the long term as well?
I want to get me a pro title for sure on a local scene, Fight Pass show, whatever. I want a pro title. Really would like a world title. LFA, Fury, case for somebody, give me that title fight. That would be cool to win a title fight or anywhere. B2, 247. I just want a title fight for sure. I want to win a pro title. So I can have an even number, so I can have 4 instead of 3. It kind of bothers me. And then just stay busy, stay training, get this diet under control because I'm a fat boy. I love to eat. But I don't love to eat more than when I know I can't eat. Like things I don't even like want to eat. For some reason, when I'm cutting weight, I want to eat them. So it's like, that's just it. Get the diet under control, stay training hard, and stay busy. I want to fight more. I'd love to be 6-0 by summer. By the end of summer, I'd love to be 6-0. So.
Well, folks, this has been another interlude episode of RotoBallers official MMA podcast. Tap that. You can find me on Twitter at RotoBrady. You can follow the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook at Tap That MMA Podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, leave favorable comments and reviews. With me tonight has been Mataeo, Top Ape Garner. You can follow him on Twitter at Top Ape Teo. You can follow him on Instagram at top_Abe_Teo. At the end of that, by the way, TAEO, Teo. Mateo, thanks so much for being here tonight, man. This has been a great conversation. I cannot wait to see what you have done in the next year. I'm really excited to continue following your career. Best of luck and health to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I had a fun time.
Folks, thanks for listening. We got UFC, oh dear Lord, 295 this weekend. Have yourselves a great week. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.